Good morning and welcome to the channel this week. We've got a great episode for you. We're going to be talking about the Fuji X-T4 and maybe some of the differences between the X-T3 and the X-H1 and the X-T4. Now, I've only had maybe, 10 days with this camera, and that's been whittled down to about maybe 3 or 4. I've shot a ton of sports with it. I wish I had the battery grip, but I didn't borrow that as well at the same time. It's been a pleasurable experience. I love the shutter on this thing, and we're going to get into some of the differences here in just a bit after the break. So if you really look at it, this X-T4 really is a combination of the X-T3 and the X-H1. The interesting thing is that they've put a smaller IBIS than what's in the X-H1 in this X-T4. And of course the X-T3 does not have that. But in so doing, they didn't really increase the size of the camera that much. I don't know if you can see this or not, but there's just a little bit of difference in thickness and in height this way a little bit. But the grip is not ginormously large like the X-H1 is. It's just a little bit bigger than the X-T3. It seems like it's got a steeper angle to it, so your hand fits into it a little bit better. Maybe that's what it is. I really like the form factor of this, the X-T3. I really like how small this camera is. And I found that, the fact that they made the battery, they changed the battery up, put a bigger battery in here, makes a world of difference when you're shooting video. So that's one of the things, or a few of the things that I really like about the X-T4. The other thing that I like about the X-T4 is that it has a separate still and movie mode. So when you change it from still to movie, you're going to get your settings that you left it on for that purpose, which you can get around that with silent mode on the X-H1 and the X-T3. But it's much easier on this. And of course, the big complaint here was the the flippy screen here, which is great if you're going to shoot video. But you know what? This little door here gets in the way. You can't take it off, unfortunately. But what are you going to do? It's an interesting problem to have. That they did, which it's almost like the Fuji technicians didn't talk to a photographer about where the back button focus button should be on the X-T3. It's right here, on the outside, way the hell over here. Your thumb naturally falls right here. So what they did was with the X-T4 is they put that back button focus button right here. So you Fuji folks that have X-T4s, you might correct me on this if I'm wrong, but the designation for automatic right here. I put that on A, and I've got my button dial setting set up so that I can use this forward wheel here to control my ISO. No, it doesn't work. Got to have it set on C to do that. Fuji, I may be wrong, but Fuji, why did you do that when all the other cameras are different? I don't get it. Just like the XS10, and it first came out with this camera, I think. Unless maybe it's with the X Pro 3 as well, I don't know. Because I didn't check. But the self-timer mode, you can leave it set to on. Thank you, Fuji, for listening to photographers about that. That was our biggest pet peeve. If you left the camera on for more than a minute, the thing shut off or it didn't stay on 2-second self-timer or 10-second self-timer. So let's take a look at the inside and the menu settings with this X-T4. Some of the things that I really like about this camera are in here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to user setting in the wrench menu. A couple of things that I like right here are my menu setting for stills and my menu setting for video. So one of the other things that I like here is inside the shooting setting, you go to drive setting, and then you go to bracket setting, and then you go down to focus bracket, and you can see manual or auto. And auto that's a pretty cool feature. It's something new with Fuji in the X-T4, and it's something I really like, and I'm going to try a lot of it with some landscape stuff. Of course, one of the other things that these two cameras, the X-T4 and the X-T3, have over the X-H1 is they have a different sensor and a different processor. These two cameras have one that's a little bit more powerful and a little bit larger. So the other thing that this camera, the X-T4, has over the X-T3 and obviously over the X-H1 is we've got two new film simulations. We got Classic Neg, which a lot of people like, and Eternal Bleach Bypass. I have trouble saying that. So far my experience with the X-T4 has been very positive. Sports, I was having a little trouble with the continuous autofocus, and I'm not sure why that is. Maybe it's because I'm used to the X-T3 and I have to get used to using this particular camera. And I'm going to shoot some basketball. I didn't have that much trouble with it with basketball, but I shot some gymnastics and it was pretty bad. It was maybe because I was using the 50 f2 with it a lot, but you know, I don't know. It just seems like why Fuji? Why can't you catch up with Canon and Sony and Nikon with the autofocus? I don't understand it. It's not. So these images here were taken for a magazine article on a woman that was working on cleaning up murals at our local library. These were taken with a 16mm 1.4 lens, and as you can see, there really isn't much difference between the image quality of this and the X-T3 and the X-H1 for that matter. The image quality is great. These next images coming up are taken with the 90 f2 girls basketball, and this was, you know, in the midst of a 15 frames a second. I don't think I would have got the ball in the middle like this. And maybe the same with this. You know, the 15 frames a second really helps in getting those micro action shots that really work out well. But it's going back to Fuji tomorrow, and sad to see it go because I really would like to use it longer, but they only gave me about 2 weeks, maybe 10 days, so it's going back tomorrow. But thank you for letting me borrow it. So here's the bottom line. Is the X-T4 really worth the upgrade? Well, for me it's not, only because I've got an X-H1 and it's got a nice silent shutter on it, just like this one does here. It's got IBIS in it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for the X-H2 to come out. You know, they're going to announce it in May, but it probably won't be out until September or something. But I'm going to wait. I love this camera. It's a nice little camera. Little. It's not little. It's a little bit bigger than my X-T3. But I think I'm going to save the money and I'm going to wait. For video shooters who do a lot of video, this is probably a good choice. It's a great camera for that. So that's it for this week, and I hope you'll check out my website, kpanphototours.com. We've got a great workshop, or I should say tour, main lighthouse tour. We're doing again this year with Bill Fortney, Fuji X photographer. He's got a lot of knowledge of all of these cameras, and he's willing to let everybody know about it. He owns a camera that looks exactly like this. But anyway, check out kpanphototours.com. That would be great. And if you wouldn't mind, and if you like this video and you like what we're doing, give me a like and a comment and subscribe to the channel. That would be awesome. So that's it for this week, and we'll catch you next time.